When dog owners went into lockdown, most thought it would be a great time for their pet, but many of them are noticing their constant presence is making their pets distant or even needy. So, should you worry about your dog's mental health during the pandemic?
When it comes to older dogs, one of two things are happening here. Either we have dogs who quite enjoyed their time alone and are finding having family and children in the house all the time quite stressful. But there will be others that over this period of time have got used to having family round and will find when we do go back to work, we'll find it very difficult.
Those feelings of stress when we leave our four-legged friends alone is called separation anxiety. And with many puppies being purchased in lockdown, the experts think we are facing a generation of miserable mutts.
Separation anxiety is extremely distressing for dogs. You can imagine if you had, as a person, if you'd never ever been apart from other people and you've never adapted to being on your own, and then suddenly you're shut somewhere by yourself, the kind of degree of panic and extreme anxiety you would feel, it is, you can imagine that would be really, really horrific.
Before the lockdown, a third of owners in the UK identified some form of separation anxiety in their dogs. This is just the tip of the iceberg, because dogs act out the most when people aren't around. Barking, whining, destructive behavior, even vomiting are just some of the warning signs that your dog might have separation anxiety. Socialization can also be a serious hurdle for pet owners to address while in lockdown, especially for the proud new owners of puppies.
So if you've got a puppy during the lockdown period, they have a period of time very early in life when they are learning about what's normal for their world, what's normal in life, and it's really critical during that early part of life that they learn about or experience all the things that they're likely to come across later in life.
There are, however, situations where we can't get things to a normal state, and you may end up with a dog, for example, that isn't comfortable around other dogs, which means longer term you may have to walk them on the lead. In extreme cases they may need to be muzzled. It may be a dog that isn't very happy about you having visitors, and that means you will need to mitigate your house and your layout to accommodate for that. And in the worst case scenarios, you may have dogs that are just not suited long term for the environment in which they grew up, that may need rehoming to a more suitable environment.
While the thought of rehoming a beloved pet might fill you with dread, don't panic. There are some things you can do. For instance, you can contact your vet for professional help. When it comes to separation anxiety, it is important to get your dog used to a schedule. That means taking it on walks during the time you would if it was in lockdown. You can leave the dog alone for periods of time throughout the day, even if it's just for 30 minutes while in another room. You can even practice going through your leaving routine at the times you would have left for work. You should also socialize your dog as soon as possible. You can get your friend to ring the doorbell so they get used to the noise, or even attempt to introduce them to people while outside if you're allowed to meet people while social distancing.
The other thing that we need to get puppies used to is also then people coming in and out the house, but also different sorts of people. So, people wear hats and they wear backpacks and they wear kind of crinkly jackets, or the postman wears high-vis stuff. So you can actually start to simulate that by members of the family